Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hey there, how you doing? Welcome to the program. It's Tuesday. It's the 20th. Good God. It's the 20th of December. And my sister Susan's on the line, I suspect. Hello?
Yeah.
Hi, Suze.
Hi.
I'm having trouble. I got the app for parking.
Yeah.
Is not working, and I'm trying to
Pay your parking?
Yeah, and it won't work.
Listen to me carefully.
Well, wait, I just got something. It said, send a report. I've never seen this.
No. Just forget it. Just either shut off your phone and restart it, or do you know how to quit that app? Do you know how to swipe it out of your screen? You need to close it down.
All right.
Fine. Okay?
And start over.
Yes.
Okay, I swiped it. It's out.
Okay, now, pick it up again and do it again.
Sorry, guys. But see, now I'm still getting this. It unexpectedly quit. Would you like to send a report?
No. Just say
Why
no.
not?
Well, what do you care? Just say no.
Because if I end up getting a ticket, then they may...
No, you're going to pay it. No. You're going to... It should work now to pay.
You think?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Susan's usually right with this stuff, but what if the problem's on their end?
It's not.
I don't know. It's being very slow. I'm starting up the process again. Very slow. So, dang. Normally, I like this thing. I think it really is.
I love it.
It is.
I mean,
it's
the
wonderful.
only thing I don't like about it in Chicago is that Chicago sold this to a third party.
Right, and you're...
So I'm paying some schmo, and the city's not getting anything out of it. Idiot.
Well, they did get something by selling it.
Yeah, they did, but nowhere near what this, But yes, all these parking apps are very nice. Have you tried the one that tells you where you can park? Do you have that in Pittsburgh that tells you all the parking spaces near to where you are and the cheapest one, and you can lock down a parking place as you drive into a city?
What do you mean you can lock it down? You can't...
You pay for it. You just say,
yeah, but that won't keep somebody else from getting in it before you get there.
Because they won't let them in. They'll know they're full up, and you'll have a thing that says that you're in.
Oh, you mean in a garage?
Yeah,
Oh, I was thinking
or
of street parking.
Block, whatever it is.
It can't... Okay. Well, quite clearly, this is not working, Sue, so, it's
I
them.
clicked on your phone and turn it on again and try again. But, I mean, this is not,
This is not exciting, I know, but, the tickets here are so ridiculous.
I know.
And then if I have to go to traffic court...
Hand it to your handy producer to do for you.
Network error. There seems to be a problem. Yes, there is. It's their problem. Okay, I'll turn off my fucking phone. Excuse me.
No, that's what they are. They're FFs.
Okay, I'll stop.
They're FPHs.
I'll try it one more time in a little bit and blah, blah, blah. So, Susan!
Yes?
I was just reading this thing that someone sent me and thanking me for being here and all that stuff, and she says, I must say the tone of your shows since the election has affected my mood. Oh, God. God.
Oh, no. Okay, cheer up.
And she says it's tough to listen every now and then, but I find you a vital source of information. So she's not telling me not to, but I know it is. And I've had conversations with people about it. I just don't know quite what to do. But
well, if we're going to talk about current events, the current events that we're talking about are depressing. That's the
thing.
Anything you can do about it, except to decide that you're not going to let it affect your
real life.
Your real life, and as I keep saying, stay motivated to do something about it in 2 years.
That's right. So I'm trying to do what Krugman is saying. I'm trying to keep it at a simmer, not a boil, and I'm not going to let it go out.
It's not good for you. You can't let our president-elect rob you of your whole life. You can't be. I mean, if ever there is a robber baron, it's him. You cannot allow him to steal more from you than he's already taken.
But what he's done is he has taken my peace of mind.
He has. He's taken the whole country's peace of mind.
No, he's taken about half the country's peace of mind. The other half, being the nitwits they are just
screwed.
Yeah, are like thrilled and happy.
They haven't figured out yet that they were screwed, but they should be figuring it out now.
No, they're not.
$15 billion.
Susan, they don't live anything that interferes with the. They live. Come on, post fact.
And there's that little wonderful town in Montana where Spencer's parents live.
Yeah, and they've called out all the Jews of Montana.
The rabbis and the rabbi and the Jews in the town, and they're targeting them.
Yeah.
I mean, if people think that this isn't real, I'll quote that famous poem where they say that ends with
first they came
and then they came for me. Right.
It's beyond belief. I mean,
it's beyond belief.
And I also I was saying yesterday, he's going to do these perennial kind of rallies, which will probably be run privately so that they can still pack the crowds and they can throw anybody out that they want. And that's again, Hitlerian. I mean, there's so much that's autocratic, Hitlerian on the surface. It's right just there. Not to note it requires, I think Krugman said, just absolute, insistence on being blind. So.
Yeah, well, this is where we are.
And, it's just hard to.
I ain't going quietly. I don't know about you, but.
No, who, me?
I swear, I used to toy with getting a gun. Now I think I'm getting a gun.
Are you really?
Well,
why would you get a gun?
Not yet, but if this gets any worse, I'm going to be a take no prisoners kind of gal.
Well, are you planning on shooting people?
Well, I don't know who's going to come for me. What if what if just the normal way of a Jew's life now is that you get threats and you get pictures of, for example, your grandchild, and saying that we know where they live.
Well, that's happening to an awful lot of Jews
right now. Doing.
I know. I don't know. So anyway, I just, my final report is it will not work. After turning off the phone, it's their problem, and I'm going to get a ticket. Will any of you come as my witnesses to my traffic court?
Is there a way to pay to put a coin in, or is it all electronic now?
A coin? We would.
Or is there a way?
A wheelbarrow? Huh?
Is there a way to put $10 in?
Well, no.
A real piece of money? Is it all electronic? Did you try at the main station? Get the box?
Oh, wait a minute. Something just went through a little bit. It says continue. Hang on.
Oh, this is fascinating.
All right. Well, damn it. No network error.
You're parking.
All right. It's going to be like $40, okay?
I'm not arguing with you. I was just going to discuss something else while you did riveting television there.
All right. Just, oh, man, I so hate giving them money like this. Or my time. So I'm going to have to go and I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been in traffic court in the last few years.
Take a picture of your screen where it shows that they're having problems so you can prove that you tried to pay.
How can I take a picture of my screen when I would take the picture with my phone?
You don't know how to do this? Okay, today the show is about a tech lesson. To take a picture on your iPhone
iPhone
of your screen, you push the on-off button and the home button at the same time. And it will take a picture of whatever is on your screen.
What's the home button?
Your camera roll.
What's the home button?
That is the round button at the bottom of your
I touch that and the what?
And the on-off button at the top or side of the phone, depending on your model. You push them at the same time, and it will go click.
No, and what I got is that, sir, what can I help you with? And my screen went black.
You didn't do them at the same time. You have to...
All right, stop. I'll stop. Okay, wait. Is the thing on the side, on my right side, is it my on-off switch?
Yes.
Well, I just did it and my phone went off.
Push the home button. Is your phone back on?
Yes. We got to stop this, Susan.
Push them at the same time, Lynn.
Yeah, but the screen now is not showing anything in particular.
Well, okay, that's how you do it.
Okay. I'll get ready to do it. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Back at the show.
Okay, so Susan.
Yes.
This is not about Trump, but are you pre-diabetic?
Oh, probably. By definition, everybody's pre-diabetic.
That's exactly right. You're either pre-diabetic or you're diabetic. Right. So this is one of those conditions and diagnoses that didn't exist 10 years ago.
It's to sell you drugs before you need them.
And I've been told I'm pre-diabetic. They tell it, here's what it says right here, New York Times. Based on the results, if you're over 60, you are more than 80% likely to be
I'm sure I am, because my blood sugar hovers, right around.
Because that's where it is when you're 60. Yeah, because that's where it goes.
Right.
And you know what? It's like
I eat lots of chocolate and candy and stuff.
Here's the other thing, like bone density nonsense. Women are told all the time, you don't have osteoporosis. You have osteopenia,
which is not having osteoporosis.
It's when the numbers start going up and
or down in terms of bone density. Yeah, I mean, no, that one I don't have. I mean, this is one of my favorite stories. I went to get my bone scan and was lying on the machine with your pants pulled down, which is what you have to do as they film your hips and stuff. And the woman literally screamed, and I said, "What?" And she goes, "You have something on." And I said, "No, I don't." Looking at me, I said, "What? You're scaring me. What?" And she said, "You have the bones of a 35-year-old woman."
Well, where the hell did you get those?
And I said, I just asked her if this girl was healthy.
Well, I have the bones of a God knows what, but
this is lucky because I wear myself around really good. I'm just covered with bruises, but nothing ever broke.
Okay, well, I just want to say that when you're told these things, they do try to give you drugs. They scare the hell out of you. They blah blah blah. And that's what one of these guys here is just saying. It is an attempt to improve your lifestyle choices by scaring you.
And it's just bullshit.
That should not be the way doctors function.
A baby is pre-diabetic. A baby is pre-osteopenia or whatever it is. Yeah,
it's a condition that no one ever heard of 10 years ago. It is medicalizing aging. It is medicalizing what is perfectly normal.
It's medicalizing not sick yet.
That's right. Isn't that something?
You're perfectly healthy. We got to do something about that.
Well, so that's what I'm telling everybody, that if you've been frightened by your doc telling you this, tell them to go.
Yeah, because guess what they discover 5 years after they put you on all this medicine, especially the stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, well, while we were curing that condition that you don't actually have,
we gave you
some. Your jaw.
Yeah, your jaw
ate away
dissolved.
Your jawbone. But now, maybe yours, and I mean, it's just bull. You don't take any drugs you don't need, period.
I think I took a picture.
See?
Wait, I took a picture, let's hope, that says network error on it. I hope this works for me.
It'll be in your camera roll.
It is.
Else, Tech Advisor?
No, it's not. Well, no, it's not.
What's not?
Well, I sort of see it, but then I don't. Oh, here it is. Yeah. I got it. Thank you very much. And now the show can start. Well, I mean, I still haven't paid, but now I at least have
now
some.
You can prove that you tried to pay and were thwarted.
And you know what? I've come to know these judges. They'll still make me pay something. They'll say, well, you should not leave. You could have inserted your credit card at the machine.
Into the box, at the site.
Mm-hmm. Well, whatever.
Which you could have if you are not always cutting it down to the 30-second mark when you're getting to do.
Well, that's the problem. Brooke writes, Lynn, last night our holiday parties began with a trip to a neighbor's house. The neighbors to each side of me and the 3 neighbors across the street all voted for Trump. We are surrounded. At the party, I was alone on the island. I came inches from calling them all racist, white supremacists, and bigots. Not a good idea. These are people who have meant the world to me, some for 25 years, and here I was, nearly ready to destroy my relationships when the host stepped in, stopped the conversation, and disallowed politics at her party.
Well, good for her.
Good for her, but my God, we got a call. Hello? They hung up?
No.
Hello? No? Okay. And Ruth writes, I can't open the app right now either. She's trying to park. Okay, well, screw him then.
Take a picture of your phone.
I'll take a picture of Ruth's thing. That's what I'll take a picture of. I'll say the evidence mounts, Your Honor. That's what I'm going to say.
Yep.
Ruth couldn't see an... Yep, wait, I got it. I'm sorry, guys. It's better than thinking about, the fascistic states of America, though, isn't it? Eh? Isn't it?
It is.
I think so, too.
I mean, I had to, because it was 40 below and an unhappy time in Chicago, that was the time that my check engine light decided to come on my car. And so I had to take my car in for service yesterday, and they did a very nice job. I have to say I was pleased. They even vacuumed my totally disgusting dog sling that covers my back seat.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I'm leaving, the very nice service guy that I'm working with says, and have a Merry Christmas, and then he looks panicked and he said, I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to be more politically correct. I said, well, you actually guessed wrong in my case, but I don't care.
Right, exactly.
You can say Merry Christmas, and I'll wish you a Merry Christmas, too. I said, frankly, I'll celebrate anything in which a president is involved. And that's it. We got out. But, I mean, people... And then I started thinking this morning, he was probably a Trump. He was probably one of the 3 Trump voters. And
well, this whole this whole idea that saying Merry Christmas to somebody could be offensive is just repulsive.
It's wrong. You can. You are wishing me well.
Exactly.
Whatever holiday you pick, you are wishing
That's
me well.
right.
And I will take it in the spirit in which it is.
Anyone who takes offense at having somebody say Merry Christmas should get a life. God. Jeez. Give me a break.
And on the other side of the coin, all the Jews in D.C. are wondering where Ivanka's going to go.
Oh, shit.
Really?
Where she's going to go to...
Right.
What synagogue?
Join?
Well, screw them. I wouldn't. If it was my synagogue, I'd then immediately leave. God.
Well,
What vile
I would think it
people.
would be very hard for them, because if they showed up in my synagogue, I'd be asking them why Jews are in more trouble than they've ever been since World War II, with her father in control.
Yeah, why would that be then? What the hell happened? Unfriggin' believable. We have a call.
Hello.
Hello.
I'll make this quick.
Yeah.
When Trump called Bill Clinton, did you hear what he told him? That he had an electoral landslide. And
He didn't tell that to Clinton, did
yeah,
he?
he called him up on the next day, an election, after the election, and he told him that. He said, "No, I had 370. I had the electoral landslide. That's not a landslide. What you got."
Well, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's how.
He's incapable of dealing with reality that doesn't please him or aggrandize him. So,
Well, what I was going to say, I know he's going to do some bad things in the next years, but I do think there's hope. I don't think like Pennsylvania, 44,000 votes or whatever it was.
that was a little more than that.
Between his three states, or
No, I understand. It's Wisconsin and Michigan that were so tight.
yeah, I think we could pull that back. I think it's just a flash in the pan. I really do. I don't think it's going to be a trend, because I think these people are going to get bored with him real fast.
Well, it's a matter, though, of how much damage can they do in 4 years, and they can do a ton.
Yeah.
A ton of damage. And you don't know. Americans maybe they'll make the trains run on time, and Americans will like that.
Well,
You never know.
yeah.
I hear you, though. Thank you.
You were talking about doctors earlier.
Yeah.
I put doctors on the same thing as politicians and religious leaders.
You don't trust them.
Shit list. I'm being serious too. I know I just don't think they're a catch-all for everything. They're good. They do some good things, but they do a lot of bad too.
Oh, God knows they do.
Yeah, I don't.
They make some.
I have a real hard time going to the doctor sometimes.
Well, I'm.
Tell them off.
I've had enough incidents under medical care that make me very, very anxious whenever I'm, being cared for in a hospital setting. They scare the hell out of me. They do, because there's a lot of mistakes made, some of them life-threatening. I was with a guy, an anesthesiologist, a few nights ago, who knows the guy who saved my life. This is a doctor who, when they were about to discharge me with a ruptured appendix, and so sick, you could not imagine how sick I was. And he, at the last minute, came in and said, no. He said, I'm just going on a hunch. I want to get you into surgery right now. And I know we don't have, there was nothing telling him what his hunch was. His hunch was right. And if I hadn't gone into surgery, if they had let me out, I'd be dead. I would have been dead in 24 hours in all likelihood. And he's the one who told me afterwards that. And this other anesthesiologist who has often worked with this guy said, I saw him the other day and I mentioned you, and he's got a big smile because I'm one of the people he would feel like, thank God I was there. I saved that woman's life.
Right.
Thank God he was there. And guess what his name is? Listen to this. Dr. No Sick.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. Yep.
Dr. No Sick. Eastern European. Immigrant!
We have our local hospital. We get a D rating for leaving stuff in people's bodies when they operate on them.
What hospital's that?
Heritage Valley, Beaver County.
Heritage Valley, they leave sponges and things in people at a greater rate than others.
Our hospital here.
That's wonderful. We'll stay out of there. Okay, you. You said it was going to be short. That was not short.
No, it wasn't.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Well, the latest, the Harvard study that shows that women are better doctors.
Yeah, I saw that. There's a Harvard study that say you want a good doc, go to a woman. Yeah.
Have much better outcomes.
Well, because again, I think women tend to listen better. Is that true?
Yeah.
What do they say it is?
That's what they say it is, that they listen and that they follow procedures better. They aren't so, they all these things that are set up to make sure you don't leave a sponge in.
Mm-hmm.
Women do better at following protocol.
I see.
And that combined with the fact that they actually listen to their patients so they know which protocols follow, it leads to substantially better outcomes.
Well, I think one of the things that has happened to our way we do medicine here is that doctors defer to machinery. And that's what happened with me. The machine was not showing.
The machine had no idea what was wrong with you.
Right. We think the machine always knows. Well, you're you're fine. Meanwhile, I had about 48 hours to live. Jesus. All right. Okay.
The good news, you're here, and in spite of the fact that it was a man. There's a lot of good male doctors.
Oh, heck yeah. You were married to
My
one.
husband was one.
I know.
But he also knew his limitations, so whenever he was actually sick, he asked me.
Yeah, but you didn't go to med school, so...
No.
No.
But I'm a girl, and I listen.
Yeah. So Henry writes, Lynn, you read an email earlier about holidays and politics. Well, my brother from Arkansas is coming in for the holidays, and we talked last night on the phone, and no doubt he'll bring his brand of politics to Christmas this year. The phone call quickly turned to politics. He's a staunch Republican who voted for Hillary, but cannot utter the words, I voted for Hillary. How do you know he did then? He is as worried about Trump as I am, but his spin on all of this is different than what I've heard. His spin is that the country is in this mess because of the Democrats. His spin, blame the corrupt Democrats and corrupt Hillary for Trump's election. If Trump destroys the country, it's the Democrats' fault.
Except where is the part where the country's in better shape than it's been in the last 20 years?
Yeah, what did the Democrats do? What they did is they cared about marginalized group. It's the social issue wedge. That's all it is. It's the social issue wedge.
But if these guys think that manufacturing is coming back to the United States in the form that it used to be, that's just not going to happen. We're in a new economy. We're in a global economy. And I keep, what I keep asking people who tell me that, this is all going to be fine, is, okay, are you willing to work for $5 a week? Because that's what you're competing against if you bring manufacturing back here.
The other thing is that most of these jobs, these good jobs, have not gone because even of outsourcing. They've gone because of
robot
automation, right?
Yep.
And that's what's killing all these, what used to give people a great middle class lifestyle.
Right, because why pay for the middle class if you can buy one machine? And then what we're really going to have to figure out is that we have to find a way to pay for all these displaced people while the country is doing better. And the answer is that 5 billionaires can't have all the money.
Do you see a point?
You really do have to have things like they have in other countries where there is a minimum income.
Do you see Trump found another general to appoint, a former general?
I know. There ain't no general that, even though he's smarter than all these, maybe that's why he's doing it, because he believes he's smarter
than
all
the
these
generals.
So
no, I think it's like a little boy thing who, he gets being around all these generals. He thinks they're pretty cool. I think it's more that. Who the hell knows? Did you also see that a Harvard psychiatry professor, along with two others, has written, I can't remember who they sent it to, saying, please, we think this man is dangerous and needs to be, that he's openly exhibiting mental signs of mental illness, that that he needs to be tested somehow before we make him our president. I'm thinking, yeah, well, good luck.
Right.
Good luck with that.
And by the way, that's not a surprise to half the country.
Right.
You didn't need to be a shrink to see that.
Well,
I think it's more interesting the article that they wrote about how Harvard and Yale and two other schools where it's all in just the name and how the people that went there, feign bashfulness about saying that they went to Harvard. I went on the East Coast, so that you have to drag it out of them so that you're impressed by their brilliance.
Or so they don't appear to be bragging.
Right.
I went to a little school in Boston, but
right.
Where? Northeastern? No, it's just
Boston
down.
College?
Oh, MIT? No. We got a call. Hello.
Hello. I was wondering if you heard the really Newt Gingrich was on Diane Rehm yesterday.
Oh dear, I heard something about this. Gingrich, the so-called historian, right? What was he arguing?
He was basically saying that I guess that Trump is so wealthy that he can basically do whatever he wants.
That's right.
And if he does anything illegal, he'll just pardon himself.
That's right.
For his children, so that if he wants his children to be in a paid position, the other guests were saying that would violate the nepotism rules. And Gingrich said, apparently, even though he had passed some of the rules that they would violate while he was in Congress, that Trump would just pardon his children and keep them wherever he wanted them to be, which they were.
Can you imagine? So, can you imagine if Richard Nixon had pardoned himself?
Well, that was exactly what the response from the other people that were on the show said. Not for whatever reason she didn't have them all on at the same time, but when she brought the other guests back, that's exactly what they said. So it seems like things could get pretty interesting.
Well, God knows they are, and I have said that from the minute this lunatic takes the oath of office, he will be the most corrupt president we have ever had. This will be the most corrupt administration in American history when his administration is 1 second old.
Yeah.
One can't even begin to imagine.
Which was also what they were they were saying a lot of things that we've heard before. Another interesting show was the On the Media that was on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They were one of their guests. I think he's the guy from the CIA that wrote the book Legacy of Ashes. I can't remember his name, about the CIA. And he also wrote a book about the FBI, but I don't remember his name. He was saying that he thinks that the FBI will be going down the road of investigating the Russian thing, just like the Watergate. That basically he thinks it's another Watergate, that it's exactly the same, and he thinks that they are already investigating it, and that it will eventually go the way of Watergate.
Well, it is. I was saying yesterday, it is essentially the same crime as Watergate. It's just done in a digital way.
In both cases, they broke into the Democratic
Right.
National Committee.
Right. Stole stuff with the intent of messing with the election. Right.
He never elaborated on why he thinks this, but he was saying that he thinks the FBI is already investigating it in that way.
I don't know. I don't trust the FBI at all anymore.
Well, no, not at all.
Not at all.
I think he was trying to say that was the way that the FBI would fix its reputation, but I don't know. He didn't seem to have a whole lot of basis for it. It was still, regardless, it was an interesting interview.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for the report.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Appreciate it. Did you see that I think it's the Kuwaitis? It was the Kuwait government, one of them Mid-Eastern countries, always has some kind of a party in Washington, D.C. this time of year at the Four Seasons Hotel. It's what their embassy does there. They were
And they did it at the Trump.
They were strong-armed into canceling the Four Seasons and rebooking it at Trump's hotel.
By whom?
I don't think that was clear.
Well, who can strong arm? I mean, is the Four Seasons saying cancel us?
No, certainly not. I don't know. Somebody might have just called and made a little, guys, I think you're missing an opportunity here. Could have been something like that. Are you sure you want to continue to do this at the Four Seasons? You've got a wonderful venue, right? The corruption will be mind-boggling. Okay, I have a question. That picture of the Russian ambassador's assassin, you seen it?
Yeah, standing over the body, waving the gun.
Well, the gun is down, his finger's up, and he's screaming. Look at his finger. I can't be the only one who actually had to look and think, is that a finger? Because it's frighteningly long. Look at that finger.
Hold on.
I'm telling everybody, it's got to be the one where he's screaming and his hands up in the air. Check out that index finger. That's all I'm saying. Unless it's an optical illusion but I'm looking at the picture. His finger looks like it's about an inch longer than it should be. It is like a total opposite of like Donald Trump's finger.
I don't have that picture. Which publication are you looking at?
AP, Associated Press. Oh, yeah. The guy who took... Celine's got it. Celine, does that look like a bizarre finger?
It's really long.
See, Celine's saying, yeah, it's really long.
He looks tall.
It looks totally freaky. Mm-hmm. It's like Pinocchio's nose after about 4 lies. I mean, it is that much longer than it should be.
He looks like a big dude.
Yeah, he looks like a big dude.
Probably has huge face.
The other thing I want to note about all these pictures is if this was an art exhibit, man, those pictures, the paintings are horrible. And they're... I tend to look at things beyond what most people are. I mean, because the paintings on the wall are uniformly horrible, from what I can tell. They're all...
Where is this?
Huh?
Where is this?
What do you mean, where is this? Where he shot the guy.
Okay.
It's in an art gallery.
Okay.
It was in an art gallery. But his finger, this is the biggest thing in the news today.
Oh, no, okay, I finally found one. And also the finger hole on the gun is...
It doesn't look, on the gun, it doesn't look as long. On the one raised up, that finger looks bizarre.
Well, you know why? Because it's cut off at the end of it, which suggests that it keeps going when it's probably...
No. My picture, it's not cut off. I have a lot of space. I see the whole finger, Susan. It's bizarre! And here's another bizarre thing about this whole picture. He shot that guy 8 times. He's lying there on that floor. There's no blood.
No, it's pulling under the...
Why wouldn't it... But I've seen pictures from other perspectives.
If he shot him straight in the heart, and his heart immediately...
No, he first shot him from behind.
But if it went into his heart and the heart immediately stopped pumping, then there would be nothing to pump out the blood. Or it was all pooling internally.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was odd that if generally somebody's been shot 8 times, you would expect a lot of blood and this bizarre finger and bad art. I'm just saying it's all there in that one picture.
The art's pretty awful.
The art is horrible, the finger is frightening, and the lack of blood is weird. That's all. That's my assessment of the big picture.
All right. Well, may I say that that's a rather callous assessment? There is a guy lying dead there.
He's the Russian ambassador. I don't give a shit. All right. James writes, I live in very red Cincinnati. All the more reason why I love that we beat the Bengals. Thank you very much. I live in very red Cincinnati and couldn't survive without you. Oh, gosh, James, thanks. You aren't bumming me out at all. You're real. I feel a little less homesick for an hour a day. Ah, you used to be here. Yeah, well, here. Yeah, you can connect with all us depressives in Pittsburgh.
Lynn, we're a safe place.
For some people, yes, we're a safe place. Isn't that nice? All right, so the good news is if you're pre-diabetic, it means you're normal. And if you have osteopenia, it means you're normal. So I don't want anybody getting freaked about that. Okay? Good. Oh, Jesus God. All right. So, Susan, you were saying Obama. What's his name? Samuelson. He's an economist. He wrote this for the Washington Post. There is no mystery about Barack Obama's greatest presidential achievement. He stopped the Second Great Depression.
Yeah. And anybody that doesn't think so just needs to revisit what was happening in 2008.
Well, that's what he does. And he says in its just released annual report, the White House's Council of Economic Advisors recalls the dreadful numbers. So when Obama comes in, it's 2009, he's moving into the White House. This country is losing, on average, listen to this, we were then bleeding 772,000 jobs a month. 750,000 Americans were losing their jobs every month when the Republicans handed over to the Democrats. That's what Democrats always get from Republicans. Disaster. Democrats come in and clean up messes made by Republicans. Ultimately, there was almost 9 million jobs lost. Housing prices were collapsing. Stock values were collapsing. Millions of people owned homes that were now worth less than the mortgages on them. And this is when Barack Obama, okay, let's let the black guy try to be president. We just trashed the place. Let the black guy in. The Council on Economic Advisors say in every instance, what happened in 2008 with the recession was as bad as or worse than the first year of the Great Depression. Worse than the first year of the Great Depression in employment loss, in drop in global trade, and in change in households' net worth. We were heading into another Great Depression.
Huge. People lost, half of their savings, some, close to all of their savings. People who had investments in certain places just saw them disappear. I mean, it was awful.
He took aggressive steps, Obama, and against intense opposition, of course, from the Republicans, he decided to rescue General Motors and Chrysler,
saving manufacturing jobs
oh, yeah.
in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that interesting? And this is really
and in
saving
other
them.
parts of the world, equally important, because it wasn't just the United States. It was the world that was going into a worldwide depression.
So Samuelson says, would everybody please remember that, we were heading into unbelievable and terrifying territory. And he not only pulled us out, look what he's handing over to Donald Trump. A burgeoning economy. Huh? And these Republicans and Trump voters think somehow that Barack Obama did something terrible? He saved our asses and assets. Jesus.
And he remade our image in the world back to one of respect again. He and his family, I think, are in all places that we respect, considered, are admired, and the world shares our loss.
God.
No, it's just, these are facts, Lynn. These are facts.
Well, isn't it's just so maddening?
Facts anymore.
No. Yeah, Barack Obama, this terrible president, and you look at his family, 8 years, 0 scandals. 0 scandals. No impeachment hearings, no mistresses. No leaked embarrassing audio, nothing, just class and grace. And look what America turns to from that, class and grace. Look at the difference in those two families. Oh, God. And do you realize Ivanka gets a pass because she's pretty?
Oh.
I mean, that's the only people think, well, she's not like him. Look at her. She's just beautiful.
Well, she's in her businesses, people just will not buy her line.
I hope so. So anyway, during this horrific last year, one of the people who spoke out pretty strenuously against Trump was, amazingly, a leader of the Southern Baptist Convention. And we think of the Southern Baptists as like right-wingers, right? And in fact, 80% of white evangelicals voted for Trump because he's such a Christian and embodies everything that Jesus taught. But this one guy, Russell Moore is his name, he's sort of the guy who, if there's a TV show, he's the public face of the Southern Baptist Church. And he was a persistent and high-profile critic of Trump because of his immorality and because of his racism. And you know what's happened to him now? Well, let's just say that there are a lot of Baptist ministers in the country, and they're intent on not only taking him down, they're intent on not supporting the umbrella organization that he works for anymore, so that he'll be forced out. So they're trying to take him down.
Well,
the pastors, these Baptist pastors, are enraged. Here is one guy saying, I'm not aware of any churches that have pulled their funding yet, but I'm aware that some say they're definitely going to. They said he disrespected us during the election. So the good Christians are turning on the only one of their crowd that actually stood up for Christian values. And now in victory, they will settle the score with him. He's just another profiling courage that's now going to, bear the consequences. Incredible! Here's some good news. Did you hear about this? Those of us who are not lovers of the NRA, or the people who
who would that be?
Embolden them, Oh, dear God.
Yeah, so what's the good news?
The good news is that some of the greatest, biggest, baddest law firms in the country have formed a coalition. These are corporate litigators from 7 of the nation's leading law firms. And they met and they decided, you know what? We can do something.
Pro bono project.
We are going to go after. We're going to do as much as we can pro bono. And they formed what's called the Firearms Accountability Council Task Force, and they plan to devote tens of millions of dollars in free legal services. Now, it ain't easy, but they're already drawing up lawsuits here, there. They're figuring out how best to start targeting this. But do you know this Congress, this god-awful Congress of ours, passed a measure a few years back, I think maybe about 10 years back, that shields, they did something for gun manufacturers that no other, as far as I know,
Right,
no.
you can't sue a gun manufacturer.
Correct. Stop and think of that. You can sue a ladder manufacturer if you fall off of it. You can sue car manufacturers.
For defects.
You can sue, my God, yeah, you can sue the Congress of the United States of America. And obviously, a Republican president, George W. Bush, signed this into law. And it's a shield law for the gun manufacturing industry. And because of that, this coalition has that makes things very difficult. But they figure there's a lot of things they can do. Since we can't expect Congress to do anything to make this gun scourge at least abate a bit, these guys will be going after the finest legal minds in the country are going to sit around and figure out what to target, where to target, and they're going to go to work. If only to harass the damn NRA.
Well,
Make them spend money where they don't want to spend money. It's sort of like what,
It just make it not so easy.
Right.
That's a wonderful thing to do, and and I can guarantee you that these law firms exist in big cities where gun violence is impacting the lives of everybody. In Chicago, you can get shot driving down Lakeshore Drive.
I know.
You aren't necessarily safe anywhere. Although the majority of the people that get killed
they're black.
Are black. But the violence is everywhere, and it's just because there's no restriction on their use. I mean, even though none of it is legal in Chicago, they just drive 20 minutes to Indiana.
Right, and then the people in the NRA says, look, Chicago's got the toughest gun laws in the world, in the country, and then look at
It happens,
because you can get guns if you just walk a few blocks. Jesus. That's why state laws, local laws, what can they do? What can they do?
The only thing, what it does do is it allows the cops to confiscate a lot of weaponry after the fact.
Great. Remember that old TV show, Have Gun, Will Travel?
Yeah, with Richard Boone.
Richard Boone. Paladin.
Paladin.
Paladin, wasn't it? Is that it?
Yeah, Paladin.
Where do you roam?
Yeah.
Paladin, so far from home. Why would we remember that?
Because we had crushes on Richard Boone.
We did?
I did. I thought he was one of those
ugly, handsome people?
Ugly, handsome people.
Because he wasn't pretty.
No, he was just.
I know what he was. He was masculine.
He was manly.
He was like, don't mess with me. He was, yeah, that's what he was. Oh, Sue, so, I don't know.
You know, men are allowed to be ugly and
attractive.
And attractive in the same time, and it's not even unusual.
That's true.
Women aren't even allowed to be different kinds of pretty.
It's true. It's true.
It is true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really something. You can see what men think beautiful women are. All you got to do is turn on Fox News. That's it. That's,
right.
Yeah. There was a book a million years ago called Window Dressing on the Set, and it was about women in getting into television and being allowed to be there. And that's how, pretty much all it was window dressing on the set. And then we've progressed to the point where now women on the set can have their own shows and be seen as smart and great reporters and all of that, but they also damn well better be thin, blonde, and beautiful. Pretty much.
Yep. I mean, that's sort of what has always amused me about Diane Rehm, of whom we were speaking earlier, because she's got a voice that makes us sound like meadowlarks, and partly is because her vocal cords.
I know she's got a problem,
but she's had people say you have a face for radio. Well,
she's gorgeous.
She is absolutely beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
But with a terrible voice, and nobody, she made her living in a way that nobody knew that she was gorgeous, and with a terrible voice, and she's smart.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite people on NPR, and she's retiring finally.
Yeah, she's going to have a podcast.
Right.
She's going to have a podcast. I think just doing one show a week. She wants to keep her fingers in the mix.
You know why? Because
yeah.
It's stimulating. It keeps you engaged.
Right, exactly right. It gets you out of bed, which is a good idea. So, Susan, I went to see one of these movies that everybody's raving about because, this is now when supposedly any good movies come out because they
which one did you see? La La Land?
No, it isn't even here yet.
Oh, what'd you see?
Manchester by the Sea.
I can tell by your voice that you were enthralled.
I was underwhelmed, to say the least. Why is everybody raving about that film? I mean, the acting is wonderful. Casey Affleck is fantastic. It's beautifully shot. But,
Right.
What's a good movie these days? I don't understand it.
And I owe you an apology. I told you this. I actually watched the Florence Foster Jennings or whatever the name of that movie was, the Meryl Streep movie.
Yeah.
And you're right. It was absolutely delightful.
That was better than, it was.
Yeah, it was absolutely delightful.
Why do they call that? I mean, so all the so-called good movies, what's going to win? It's La La Land is going to win because this is like Busby Berkeley in the Depression. America is so freaked that the film that will win is this sort of fanciful musical thing. Right? Because ain't going to be Fences, which is depressing, and about black people, who gives a damn, and it ain't going to be Manchester by the Sea because I got to tell you,
he's going to make it back to Fences. He's going to make all 9.
What?
He's
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington has a deal to make all 9 of those plays.
Yeah. Wow, he's going to do this cycle
because more people will be able to see.
Yeah.
Him. And I do think that's one I can't wait to see because I'm sure he's going to do I'm sure it's good.
Oh, I'm sure. And from the trailer, Viola Davis, who plays his wife, I mean, in this one really, really extreme scene, she's screaming at him. And he's talking about how his life, nothing, he got nothing, look what happened, nothing, he's a garbage man, he blah, blah, blah. And she said, I've been there with you through, and she's crying. And I got to tell you, Viola Davis
is one actress.
But she cries. I have never seen somebody, she got an Academy Award for a tiny little scene, pretty much, that she did in Truth. Is that the name of it? With the priest?
Doubt.
Philip C. What? Doubt. Doubt, Truth, whatever. Doubt. Right. And in that scene, she starts sobbing. And I looked at her, I thought, how do you... When she starts sobbing, she can produce snot. I mean, immediate snot. It's one thing. A good actress can produce tears. A great actress can produce tears and snot. So that all around, under her nose, you can't tell what's what, but it is frighteningly wet.
And are you immediately crying with her?
No.
Really?
I'm just amazed. No, I'm just amazed at the snot and the tears. I mean, what?
See, whenever I mean, that's what makes me cry in movies. Anybody cries around me, and I'll be sympathetically crying immediately.
You know, I bought some popcorn before I went in. It was going to be my lunch, and the young woman behind the counter said, "You better take a few. Do you have some tissues?" I said, "Oh no, I'm going to cry?" She said, "Hey, it's a movie made in Boston. Name me a movie made in Boston that you don't cry." And I thought that was the funniest thing I ever heard.
That's sort of true, you know.
It is. Stop and think about it. Then I spent the rest of the day trying to think of a happy movie set in Boston.
Love Story was in Boston. I mean, you start there.
Just all those Affleck movies and all of it. I mean, it's just they're tough. They're just tough movies. So I thought that was the cutest line of the day. And guess what? I didn't cry.
Well,
and I'm a crier, as you know.
You hard-hearted person.
This is what Trump has done to me. All of my behavior now, I blame on him. I didn't cry, and I didn't even like the movie. I've lost my empathy. Because where's it gotten me? Huh? What'd I get? Okay. I think that's it. I didn't mean to be off-putting about the movie. I'm sure some of you will think it's wonderful.
Probably, but I have no problem believing what you say is true about that movie.
Oh, God. I should have gone to see the Star Wars movie.
Well, that's not getting good reviews either, although Arlie and Tawny saw it and they liked it just fine.
No, the critics don't like it, but the audience likes it. It's one of those things.
Right.
I guess. Anyway, that's it. And this was a ridiculous show, and I want to abjectly apologize. Susan, it had nothing to do with you. It had to do with the parking app not working.
Yeah, but look at all you learned, Lynn.
What? Oh, I did. I learned how to take a picture of my own screen.
Yeah, that comes in handy. So
I guess it does. That's when
you order things online, you can take a picture of the order and have it. You know, it's become my file. You know, it's very nice.
And yeah, I'll tell you.
Whole world.
This little phone. I'll tell you, that guy, he's dead now, right? Jobs.
Yeah. Yes.
This Steve Jobs will go down in human history, if there's anyone left to write it, as probably having more impact on humanity than any other person in the world. That is what I am going to.
Well, he certainly took a whole generation is the wrong word. He took the whole world and
changed our behavior.
Changed their behavior. in a very short.
In like a year or two.
So our 94-year-old mother is as affected as my grandson.
You have to be if you're going to. He changed everything, and he helped hasten the cyborgization of humanity. And on that, I shall leave you.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Suze.
I hope you don't have a ticket. Let me know the end of the story.
I will. God
Okay, bye.
dang it. Bye. And as for you guys, Bill O'Driscoll's coming in a little bit tomorrow because he's written a fascinating piece, which is so depressing. Damn it, it's depressing. I forgot. But it's about an unbelievable miscarriage of justice. It's about a young black man who's been in jail for 8 years now. And I gotta tell you, no one in their right mind would have convicted him. And I'm sure there's a million more stories like that too. But again, I think it's important that we bear witness. And now I'm going to go see Rogue. What is it? Rogue? No, I'm not. Rogue One? No, I'm not. All right, goodbye. I'm going to go watch Casablanca. That's a good movie. Goodbye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.